You probably knew this was coming. Big shout-outs over to the guys over at the Grindline podcast, because not only do they happen to be my favorite Red Wings-based podcast, but they made a Twitter thread that was very, very good. Now, this is really funny, because they tweeted out the Patrick Kane presser notes in a very easy-to-read, reader-friendly format. They did this for Kane, they did this for Steve Yzerman as well. And I was like, you know what? I want to go out there and review these notes. I wanted to make a video talking about Yzerman and Patrick Kane, how they spoke out about the coming together of these two parties. I wanted to make a video about that. And I had these notes, the Kane and Yzerman pressers, open up on my computer, getting ready to record them. But before I started out that, you had yourselves, the Grindline guys, actually tweet at me directly saying, hey, this is content for the channel. And I was like, y'all, I am right there with you. This is exactly what the plan was. So without further ado, let's go over to Patrick Kane and Steve Yzerman and read what they each had to say about Kaner coming over to Motown. Showtime in Motown. That sounds great, doesn't it? Let's just go out there and read these notes. It's a very long thing, so we're just going to do a lot of reading here. No need to get too deep into the specifics. Bob Duff asks Patrick Kane how he feels. Kane says he feels much better than last year. The ability to put weight on his leg and shift, his lateral movement and crossovers feel good. He says he's in a good spot. Now, I know I said we're just going to go out there and read this, but firstly, that is awesome to hear about, because Patrick Kane, as we had said last year, was a very productive player, 57 points in 73 games played. That is a very solid, very respectable point production metric. And sure, while we did say the Red Wings have to be careful because the amount of players that have come back from this type of surgery and actually performed well is very small, it's literally zero, Patrick Kane could very well be the exception to the rule. He's Patrick freaking Kane after all. He says he doesn't know how long it will take to get up to speed, but hopefully it's pretty quick. Health-wise, he was cleared for contact almost 2 months ago. At this point, it's having practices and getting up to speed with the team. The hip is good, and we are easing into it, he says. Okay, there you go. As long as he's able to keep up to speed and maintain an actual level of competitiveness throughout his stride, throughout his gameplay, that is what we need. When it comes to his decision on joining Detroit, Alex DeBrincat was indeed one of them. He mentions the chemistry and their off-ice friendship. He likes what they're building with the team and where they're going, playing well as of late, and he wants to jump in and help the Wings make the playoffs. There you go, Showtime. That's what you gotta see. This is a Stanley Cup champion, multiple-time champion. He knows what it takes to make the playoffs. He knows what it takes to win. Going out there and providing that level of expertise in Detroit, mwah, chef's kiss, there you go. He also mentions the legends that have played for the franchise and it being run by Yzerman, one of the best of all time. Kane says he felt like he needed to be in a market where hockey is popular and can get the crowd excited. Oh yeah, hockey's popular in Motown, all right. He says that DeBrincat is feisty on the forecheck and can make quick plays, which is why they work together well. But their relationship off-ice is also very solid. DeBrincat earned respect for being competitive and for having the love of the game. Kane says that he likes the defense of the team and how they're playing right now, but they also have a lot of playmakers up and down the lineup. He is not just coming to play with DeBrincat. Okay, Kane, you could go out there and say that. I don't think that if DeBrincat was on Detroit, Kane would have come here either, but yeah, nice to see him saving face. Did Steve's injury come up? Nope, it was about Patrick Kane's situation. Give Steve and the medical staff credit for looking over everything and not just the hip. Okay, so there you go. CVY and the medical staff are making sure here that everything is alright, not just the hip. Was there anything that boosted Kane's confidence in recovery? He says that last year he was playing the game on one leg and was very limited. The crossover left to right doesn't hurt now, and he is very excited. Again, this is exactly what we were talking about. If the guy was playing on one leg and he still put up 57 points in 73 games, that's really good. And the year before that may be more indicative as to how well he's actually able to perform. 92 points in 78 games. Again, playing with Alex DeBrincat. So again, if there's any resemblance as to what happened 2 years ago this year, then you're looking at an absolute winner of a signing here. Let's go back over onto the tweet. There is a conversation about why he wanted to keep playing. He's got the love and passion for the game. He wanted to play, and he feels like he's got a lot left in the tank. Doesn't feel like he's getting old in his game. The decision wasn't a light one. He also gets into why they did the surgery. The doctor said that if they did the resurfacing, there were muscles that would reactivate and he wouldn't have to retire because of his hip later on. So pretty scary stuff, honestly, when you think about it like that Patrick Kane was in such a dire situation with his hip that he could have had to retire. When it comes to how close he is on getting back to his game, he feels like he could get out and play tonight. Talking to the staff, they want to get him up to speed and get a few practices with the team. A week to 10 days is the plan, so Buffalo, San Jose, or Ottawa sometime at the start of December. Kane says that he was very impressed with Steve Yzerman and Derek Lalonde. Steve has a persona that is incredible. Derek impressed with how he wants the team to play. But the medical side impressed Kane as well, wanting to know everything. They also wanted his feedback on what he needed. So it seems like the Wings are treating Kane right, which is definitely a positive thing to see. He says that they're also building something off the ice. The care for the players and training and testing, it's very individual to the players and what they need to work on. Kane then goes over the rivalry between Detroit and Chicago. It was huge. The Wings were always a team Chicago was looking up to and trying to beat. The franchise and organization are incredible, and the jersey is beautiful. Here's the money shot as well. Daniel Sprong goes out there and gives Kane his 88. Hey, guess what? Kane is indeed going to get something for Spronger. Maybe a Rolex watch like Ilya Kovalchuk had a few years ago, right? When it comes to competitiveness, Kane says there are a lot of perceived contenders, and it was blown out of proportion a bit that he wanted to go to a cup contender. It's more about the fit. And hey, if Stevie Y's going out there saying there's a fit here, and Kane is thinking there's a fit here, I think there's a fit here too. Great to see that, of course. He says, did he reach out to anyone else? Yep, Detroit was in his heart the whole time when he was evaluating his options, though. So maybe from the beginning there was only really a one-horse race. Maybe that's surprising, maybe that's not, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comments, your opinions. Kane says that the rivalry has faded over the years. He grew up in Buffalo but played in Michigan for a long time. He lived with Pat Verbeek when he played for Honeybaked. He says the Joe was his favorite road arena to play at. And the Wings were always a team he wanted to play for if he went anywhere else. Not New York, eh? Okay, I mean, yeah, these are some nice comments, but I don't know how true that is. 100%. Was he only going to stay in the East? No, it was always about fit, not about travel necessarily. Detroit is close to home in Buffalo and Chicago. Kane looks back on last year and New York didn't go as well as he had hoped. He's glad he did it though. He'll learn from it and change what he thinks he could have handled differently. He doesn't want to step on any toes here. Now he'll come in and be the best version of himself. That is what can help make his teammates better. And that will end the presser. Kane seems genuinely to love the team and has for a long time. Some answers here were very unexpected, and we hope he has a lot of success here. Now the thing is, this was a really long thing, and there are so many more comments made by Steve Yzerman in regards to this same thing as well. Maybe we'll just gloss over these because I don't want the video to be too long. Firstly, they start out by asking, hey, can you relate to Patrick Kane because he had surgery? Yzerman replies, yeah, he would have kept playing forever. Kane is competitive, and Yzerman gets it. To be effective, Steve Yzerman says it's a little but not totally unprecedented. There are different ways of doing the procedure, and they have improved over the years. Their optimism is in the procedure being done well, and it gives Kane the best opportunity to come back and play. Yzerman says that Kane met with the doctors and performance staff, and they were really pleased with the results of the evaluations and the testing. And just in general, outside of the hip, Patrick Kane is in really good shape. Yzerman then praises Kane's hockey sense as to what makes him exceptional. That doesn't go away with a hip surgery. They also watched a lot of video on Patrick Kane and his recovery. They were able to talk to his agent and therapist and kept tabs on the entire process. So really, it seems like the Wings did so much due diligence and a lot of research into this entire thing based off of these comments by Stevie Y that, I mean, if they're super confident that Kane is going to be able to come back, then there's no reason to go out there and doubt it, right? We did make the video yesterday, literally just doing that, doubting it, but that was made before the press conferences, so I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt. Based on what they see, Patrick Kane should be able to go in full practices. He'll get as many as he can until he feels like he is ready to go. When it comes to impact, Kane is a playmaker, predominantly playing on his offside, a creative offensive forward the Wings can benefit from. Now here's an interesting thought as well. Did Steve Yzerman expect to get Kane? In the offseason, they checked in on him before his surgery and he wasn't in the plan. A month ago, they connected on the possibility of returning. A healthy Kane could help, but didn't give it much consideration before last month. So this really was a recent thing. This didn't show up until, let's just say, November-ish. Start of November, right? Because it's the 30th right now. It's pretty much December. The hope is they can hang around if they're healthy and goaltending holds up. Steve says they could compete for a playoff spot before Kane. With a healthy Kane, it gives them an even better chance. On the DeBrincat chemistry, Yzerman says there is history, and he says it's safe to assume they'll play together at some point. DeBrincat knows how to get open, and Kane can transport the puck. That is why they work. He says they don't make signings to sell jerseys or tickets. They sign for effectiveness. Bumping up offense and power play was the key. Everyone is also intrigued to see how well he'll do because he's an admired hockey player, but he will ultimately need to play well. Now, there are a few other things here, just smaller details in regards to one-year discussion. His birthday made him eligible for a non-eligible, for a 35-year-old plus contract. Roster management, if everybody's healthy. There are a few other things here, so big shout-out over to the Grindline guys for pretty much summing everything up. They're making my job easy here, folks, just going out there and giving all the necessary quotes, giving all the quotes, period, in regards to Kane and Steve Yzerman. So, for when it comes to here, I mean, look at the top reply. That is so funny. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the entire conversation about Patrick Kane and his signing. Steve Yzerman and Kane had some very encouraging and very positive comments. So my thought is, hey, this should be all right. What are you feeling about this entire situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Big shout out over to Grindline once again. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.